And it's so funny, like watching a generation like give up on trying to keep up. You know, that's been happening. Bob Dylan, you know, he wrote a fucking song about it. Times they are changing. This shit happens. It's happened
especially now
with every generation. It's just faster now.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not going to keep up, then at least get out of the way. Oh, perfect. I love this one. This isn't really a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is more so a mindset.
Mm.
Sorry, that's also going to be another series. The mindset. Motivational shit. Boom. It's documented. Stop waiting for Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We all hear this. Miho, do I have your right mic up? Are you guest mic?
Yeah.
Okay. It just looks low.
Okay.
I was about to be mad. Sorry. Stop living for Friday. Everybody, I say everybody. If you have a 9-to-5 job and Monday through Friday and you're just working for the system, working for the man, you live for the weekend, right? You don't have to wake up early. You get the full day to do whatever you want to do. 2 days. And then, so everybody lives for Friday because you're like, yeah, I'm going to see if I can skate out of here early. I got the whole day tomorrow to do whatever I want. Then I got the whole day Sunday to do whatever I want. But you spend the whole day on Sunday dreading going back to work in this 9-to-5 grind. Like, how many people, that's a lot of people's reality.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because a lot of people don't like or love what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've heard Gary Vee talk about this
a
million times.
A lot of people have. Will Smith has.
Yeah, but it's like, why? We literally spend, what's the fraction of it? It's like 5 out of 7 days. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hating what we're doing, looking forward to not even 2, really just 1, where you can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. How do we break through that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
How would you?
A way that we could, because I even though I love my job and I love what I do, on Sunday I'm like, damn, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
But then I realize, hey, I could be back in Oklahoma, like fucking stepping in cow shit, like I was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then putting it in perspective, I'm like, yo, this is dope. So that's one thing that I do. Keep things in perspective. You know, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Are you working towards something that you love?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just complacent? You're like, oh, I got this job out of college and I feel now I'm comfortable. I feel safe. I would really like to do this in the future, but that would mean I would have to take a step back, and I don't know, you know, I don't want my friends or family to think this way about me because, you know, there's just so many excuses.
Yeah, I think, well, the whole thing goes back to doing what you love. But even when you do what you love, there's days where you just want a little reprieve. And I guess it's just something to look forward to. I'm understanding, like, I get to go back to work tomorrow. I love it. But it's also like, whether you're a filmmaker, you're like, tomorrow we have a 14-hour shoot day. And I love it, but it's also like,
it's taxing on the body.
Like sensory overload, even loving what you do. Like, we like what we do. Mm-hmm. Some days I love what we do. But there's so many facets to what we do that when it comes to, like, I said it to my boss yesterday. He asked me something and I was like, yo, I don't listen to the radio when I go home. Like, I listen to classical music to decompress. Like, I'm not listening to the station when I'm not at work.
Right.
And it's like, part of my job is working at a radio station. I got to be aware of what's going on our station. But like, sensory overload with social media and music and the internet and the culture of hip hop and movies and all these things. And so, yeah, I look forward to the weekends, but I also dread Mondays, but I love Tuesdays, and then I'll hate Wednesday, and then I love Thursday. And it's like, it's a balancing act of your life.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think when people say, like, you shouldn't hate Mondays, it's like, Yeah, it could. Like, I wish I had an extra day because I kind of need it. Some days I'm like, yo, I'm ready for Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all a balancing act of what you're going through. People pass away. You're like, I don't want to go to work.
Everybody has their own things in their life going on outside of work.
Yeah.
That directly affect your
mind state.
Yeah, mental state while you're at work.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole reason this topic gets brought up is like stop living for the weekend.
Yeah.
Is because if you look at it in that way,
mm-hmm.
you're literally spending over half of your life looking forward, like being miserable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to a little sliver where you get to just chill and be happy.
When you should be working to have every day be chill and happy.
That's the ultimate goal, right? Yeah. And I was seeing like on this topic, there was like, you know, like asking the question, like, what can you do to break out of that cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Just for me, like, you know, or meal prepping, right? Monday through Friday, eat as clean as possible. On Saturday, I get to eat whatever I want, and it's like what I look forward to. Is that a good thing? Maybe, yes, who knows? But it's the same mental structure. Like, why can't my cheat day be on Tuesday instead of Saturday?
Yeah.
Because I'm associating it with that's my off day from work.
So I got to do whatever I want.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can sleep in. That's another thing. It's like we all have to wake up early. For the most, I say we all. I mean, you might be on the night shift. You might, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, the idea is like you wake up early, which sucks for everyone. I mean, especially you.
Keep going, Clay.
And I feel like that's a big part of it. Like for me, like on Friday night, knowing that I don't have to get up at 7 or that you don't have to get up at 3.
Yeah.
It's just like, like you don't set an alarm, which, I mean, you're only waking up for, I'm talking about myself. I'm waking up at 8:30 on Saturday anyway. And so, I mean, but just that extra hour.
You don't wake up at 8:30 on Saturday?
Depending.
Rarely.
Rarely.
Fuck it.
I'm waking up early this Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know. It's living for the weekend is.
Let me see what other.
I guess the goal of it is just like to build the life you want. So it's like, do I quit my job? Well, no, because I need an income to pay for things I want, a camera, microphones, memory cards. It's a balancing act of, I guess, the duality of like, we don't live in an era of the 1950s where I get a secure income and I get a pension and I can afford a family of 3, like my wife and 2 kids, and I get a white picket fence. That era is dead and gone. And now it's like, oh, hey, like you're not working 80 hours this week. Like that's the norm for a lot of people. And it's like,
yeah, like,
and it's hard to like feel that because you're like, there should be no excuses, but it's like, at what point, I guess is at least in my mind, and maybe it's making an excuse, but there's people who are older than us. They're like, this generation wants this and this generation wants that. And it's like, yo, like we're not getting any preference to what you guys fucking got. And you don't even want to pay us. So like, fuck you. Like, give me my goddamn day off. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Am I good here?
Yeah, you're good. Because it's like, you don't turn off. You live it. If you want it, it's like, you guys got to turn off. You guys got to get in your fucking little American-made $5,000 car and like got to go to the beach. And
it's so funny because, you know, piggybacking off of,
and they didn't have social media. That's part of the job, right?
Hold on, Here we go.
It's part
exactly.
Of the, that's also. I was talking with my boss a couple months ago, and he's like, "Yo, I don't know." Like, I was complaining. I was like, "Social media is hard, man." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like, I understand it, but I'm not in the, like, you guys work for me and you guys mainly do it. Like, you guys working your jobs and you have another layer of social media now and you have to be current. Like, Twitter, topics changed instantly. And it's like, go to the radio, do this. And it's like, like, give me my fucking at least 24 hours on the weekend where I don't, We tried to go to a basketball game the other fucking day. They're like, hey, can you get content? I was like, can I enjoy a fucking basketball game for 3 hours?
Put your eyebrows down.
Dude. Down. Like, it's on my spirit now.
All right, hold on. Hold on. Let's pump the brakes for a second. It's funny that we're talking about this because I was on a show yesterday, and I was outnumbered by age. So there were 2 millennials in the room, myself and one other person.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, old people.
Mm-hmm.
They love to. I say old people. What's their generation? Gen X. The generation right above millennial.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
2 of them are in their early 40s.
Yeah, so just
one's in their 50s,
40s, 50s, whatever that generation is. They love saying shit like, "Oh, you damn millennials," or this and that. And so that topic got brought up, and I said, or like something to think about is, we as millennials were born into the day and age of instant gratification. Like we've watched this develop. It's gotten better as time goes on. Like whenever we were 5, we didn't have Amazon Prime to get a new pair of Nikes delivered to our front door in 24 hours. But it's always been, want it, got it. Want it, got it. And it gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And so do you think, I'm asking you this as
me or the audience?
No, I'm asking the audience. If you are listening to this and you are not a millennial, right? Do you think that you or your generation would have turned out any different had you grown up in an age of instant gratification? Because you can sit there and say, oh, well, we had to work for this and we had to do this for that, and this is how it was when I grew up. Yeah, and I'm sure if you take millennials and put us in your generation, we would have the exact same views, right? So just this whole idea of like picking on millennials because, oh, you want it now and this and that, like, why do you think that? Like, look at what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's instant gratification. Like, that's how we were brought up.
Yeah. And because like you see how fast it moves and we're part of a generation, you think, at least for me, because you and I were kind of like in that middle of like, we still had dial-up. We didn't have Chrome.
We watched the internet.
We watched it.
Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
A lot of people now aren't.
And so it's like, you see how fast it moves, and it's like, you expect us to be just part of it, and you're like, move that fast while doing this. Also, it's like, but you're not even moving that fast. Like, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
and it's so funny, like watching a generation like give up on trying to keep up. That's been happening. Bob Dylan, he wrote a fucking song about it. Times are changing. This shit happens. It's happened,
especially now
with every generation. It's just faster now.
Yeah,
it's like if you're not gonna keep up, then at least get out of the way. You're not even gonna sit here and poke fun, right? Or
but like
mock and mimic.
But going back to the whole like, because everything's moving so fast. For me, even if I was a fucking millionaire, I'd be like, yo, I like my fucking weekend. Like, give me a fucking weekend, man. Like,
but is that because that's how it's always been in our mind? Like, even think about like school, right? 5 days a week. You look forward to Saturday because you don't got to get up and go to school.
I mean, there's so many layers to this issue because there's a lot of countries that don't do it. They do 4 days a week.
Which is, hey.
There's countries in the world that only do 4-day work weeks. There's a lot of countries that give paternity leave, 4 months paternity leave. There's a lot.
More than that.
Huh?
A lot of countries do like 6.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't say
what's
a
America
lot.
Like 3 max?
I don't think America gives paternity leave. I think
yes, they do.
Paternity or maternity? Paternity's for fathers.
Oh.
A lot of countries give.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah,
paternity.
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
There's countries that are like, go be with your kid. You're the father.
Right.
We don't even do that.
No, we don't.
So
we don't do that.
So that's up to a company here in this country. In other countries, in some very few countries, it's mandatory that men go home with their kid. So, I mean, yeah, it's a mindset of like doing what you love, but even there's people who are billionaires, millionaires who, I mean, they could afford the lifestyle of just picking up and going, but they're like, turn it off. We're going to fucking read all weekend. And that's okay too, to like, hey, living for the weekend, I would like to enjoy reading a book.
Yeah.
Is that any more wrong than I want to party because I want to shut down?
I guess the question is why can't you read that book and enjoy that time on a Tuesday or a Wednesday?
Oh, you can.
Right.
But the way the system is built, it's like
you're constantly thinking about like waking up to go to work.
You wait, or you're at work. You're like, some people work 12-hour days. Some people work 15-hour days.
Right. Some people work 4-hour days.
Your mind, I feel like, I'm not a scientist, but like your brain can only handle so much sensory information and overload, whether it's smells, and you're like, I just want to shut down. My brain needs to shut down for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's bedtime. You're like, all right. So I get Saturday, one day, or Sunday, where I get to fucking go sit on a dock and just enjoy the sun.
Right.
I'm not at a cubicle. So,
dude, the cube life is definitely testing.
Yeah. And we're kind of in it-ish.
We're on the cool side of cube life because like we're at work right now and we're doing this, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But like we're not confined to our cube.
Yeah,
like,
some people are.
Yeah, some people are.
Yeah.
Nerds.
I mean, if it was up to me, like I'd rather be hanging off a helicopter with a $20,000 camera right now and shooting bears running in Alaska.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be dope. Go do it.
Go do it.
Hey guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button right below because with all your subscribes and all the likes, we can afford new chairs like this. And we're pretty stoked about it because I might take it because it's actually not ours. But hit that subscribe button nonetheless. Go do it. And I know I flubbed my words. English is my second language. Adios.